Yeah, Tank or Shakur.
I think Tank got a better resume.
You see what I'm saying? He a PBC guy, B for three, B3.
I'm not a
He a
PBC
PBC
anything.
guy. Who got
No,
a better resume?
Shakur got two guys on his resume. Two. Williams and Pater and Theo. That's it.
So what
Pedraza.
about
Talking
what
to
about Oscar?
Pedraza.
Man,
What up, Bernie? What's up?
What's up,
you talking
Pedraza?
about, you
Fuck you.
talking
Hold on, wait. Hold on, no, you talking about Shakur.
Yeah,
Shakur got Valdez. Come on now. Now you only got
Aaron.
10 fights. He got Valdez.
no, you talking about drug cheap Valdez?
Okay. So
What they
he
got to
ended
do
up
with Shakur?
cheating.
That
So
don't
now we
diminish Shakur.
exactly. So
Yeah.
now we got this dude is a hater for real. We know he's not. I could
Hold up, hold up. Go one
every
at a time.
everything he's saying. He been talking too much. Now let me talk. He been so the first of all, if we since we talking about Shakur right now, okay. First of all, Shakur is one of the most avoided fighters in boxing. Let's not put that out. Let's not underestimate that. Shakur is the most underrated boxer and one of the most outspoken boxers of the time. Nobody calls his bluff. Nobody really doubles down on wanting to fight Shakur. Shocking Foster been recently saying it. Okay, he fought at 26. He beat for the title was vacant. He won that. It wasn't nobody at 26. He went to 30. He won two portions of the title at 30. He beat the man at 30. It wasn't no work at 30. He was 1 pound over the weight, and he gave up the title, beat the fuck out of Conceição, who became a champion, beat the fuck out of Conceição, and went to,
Bernie. Hey,
oh,
we
my
can't have
bad,
no cussing. Appreciate you.
my
Appreciate you.
language. Okay.
Okay.
Who beat the stew out of Conceição. He was 1 pound, one little measly pound. He said, I don't care about the pound, because he wanted to go to 35 looking for the smoke with Tank. Maybe not the first fight, but he wanted to get his feet wet at 35, see what's going on so the fight can clamor and make the fight happen. That stuff ain't happened. He had to go to 40 because Tank's still doing other stuff for everybody else instead of Shakur. So he had to go to 40 and beat the lineal champion and Teofimo Lopez. So now he's a four-weight world champion and a two-time lineal champion and a one-time unified champion. You
Yeah.
can
So
say
where the
unified now
resume?
because he's at 40 and he got the Ring Magazine, the True Championship with the WBO. Come
I
on
got a
now.
question. I got a question for
Where
Bernie.
where
Hold
I
on,
got a
hold on, hold
question
on,
for you,
coach. Hold on,
Bernie.
coach. I gotta
Let's
referee
go
this.
back.
We gotta let D
Let's
free to
go.
get in on that.
Let's go
Okay.
back. Let's go back to 26 because he said it wasn't nobody there. He wanted to fight with Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington offered him a fight. He decided to move to 130.
Who was Josh
Also,
Warrington?
that's
Who
who
was Josh Warrington?
that's who Shakur wanted to fight. Regardless of how you believe what he is, that's who Shakur wanted to fight.
So what happened?
Josh
Okay, so what
Warrington
happened?
offered Josh Warrington offered him to fight. He moved to 130.
How did he
He
want
moved
the
to 130.
fight, but then the man offered him a fight? He didn't take the
He
fight.
did.
Come on.
It is. It's documented. He
All
offered him
right.
the fight. He moved to
Okay, so
130.
listen this.
Okay, hold
So
on.
so
No,
so
you said what you had to say. Then let's move on. He went to one. He
no no
went to
no. Hold on, hold
130.
on. Now let's argue
No,
that
Let him
point.
no,
respond
I
to that,
didn't say.
free.
No,
I
no,
didn't.
Free, let
let's
him respond
let's
to that. Hold
let's
on, free.
let's
Free, let him
let's
respond
argue
real
that
quick.
point. No, let's argue that point
I didn't cut
because
you off.
oh
You
my
kept
God.
talking. I didn't cut you off.
Oh my
You kept
God.
talking.
Oh my
So
God. This dude don't want it with me, bro. This man do not want no talking. This dude just talking, bro.
You
He
were just
still
talking. I let you talk.
okay. So listen. So listen what I'm saying. Okay, this is a back of let's talk about that. Let's down each situation. Okay, so you telling me that Shakur wanted to fight Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington said, "Okay, we'll fight." Then he said, "No, I'm going to move up to 130."
Yes.
Okay, and so what is you saying by that?
He didn't want to fight. He
Okay,
said he wanted
so
to fight, but he
so
didn't.
he didn't want okay, so he didn't want to fight Josh Warrington, but he wanted to fight a Teofimo Lopez.
No, you talking about three,
I
four
know, but
years
wait a minute. Let's
later.
put it in
You talking
perspective.
about 4 years
Let's put it in
later.
perspective. You saying basically that he ran away from Josh Warrington. He ran
That's
away
what
from
he did.
Josh
That's not what
Warrington.
I'm saying. That's what he did.
That's what okay. So he ran off
That's
from
his talking
Josh
point.
Warrington only to go into a fight with Teofimo Lopez.
He didn't go into a fight with Tia.
I'm not saying that he went into a fight with Teofimo Lopez,
He
but
didn't
I'm
go.
trying to say if he would, so who was?
No. You're not gonna act like he didn't fight Josh Warrington and he went right into a fight with Tio.
I didn't
No,
say that. That's not what I'm.
that's what you
Chat,
just
are we on?
said.
Is that what
That's
I'm
what you
trying to
just
say,
said.
Chat? Is that
That,
not what I'm trying to say, Chat? Is that
that's
that's
what
not what
you
I'm
just
trying to
said.
say? That's
That's what
not
you
The
what
just
I'm
premise,
trying
said.
to
the
say.
premise. This is the premise. The premise is that Shakur wasn't scared to fight no Josh Warrington. A lot of these fights don't happen because of the business of boxing. Josh Warrington was known to be a matchroom fighter, and Shakur's with top rank. So it at the
But
end of the day, the business got to make sense.
This and at the
Shakur would
same
have put all
time,
type
Beefy,
like
of
real
this
hands on
quick.
though.
Josh Warrington.
Okay, now
We ain't
listen
gonna
to
do
this.
Real
that.
At the
quick,
same
Bernie. Not
time,
to
it's
cut you
like
off, Bernie.
this. At the
But the topic was he said we asked him was Shakur resume better than Tank's, and he said that Tank's is better, and we saying
okay,
Shakur got 2 Ring Magazine belts, 4 division champion, but he thinks Tank's resume is better. How?
okay. Now listen. Now let's go on to that. Let's go on to that. Okay. Now Tank got a good resume for some good guys, but let's start off with Pedraza. That's his best win. Okay, let's talk about that. That was his best win. He was perceived as the underdog in that fight. He came through with flying colors. Since then, he ain't fought no. Santa Cruz was too small. We know that. Santa Cruz was a bantamweight. He started out at bantamweight.
You
He
can
was
say the
never
same
a
thing
hard.
about Shakur. He beat a lot of small guys up.
Okay,
Keep it 100.
what small
Talking straight down
guys?
the middle, brother.
What small guys? Okay, Tank started at 30, at 20. He started at 26. He did start at 26 or something like that. He started at 26, but he moved up to 40. This kid, Santa Cruz, could never fight at 140.
Shakur was bigger than T.O. What do you mean, what small guys? He was bigger
When
than
was it?
T.O. And
He bigger
when he
than T.
moved up,
Okay, then what did Tio start out at?
Leave 35, didn't he?
Okay, so Shakur started out at what, 2 weight classes below that, right? He was in the Olympics at 125, 123, right? Okay. So now, because he's taller than him, or he's just as tall, that means he's been a smaller guy. He's been the smaller guy. Okay?
against
He's
who?
been the
Against
smaller
who?
guy.
Against
He's
who?
been the
Against
smaller
who?
guy, or he's
Against who?
fought got he's fought the guys that was his size. So we just said Valdez. Valdez was a 26 pounder when he came in, right? He was a 23 pounder when he was fighting in the Olympics and everything, right? So that's his win at Glenio at one whatever it was. Him and Joette fought in an amateur, so they were about the same weight when he won the fight at 26, right? So then he went to 35. He beat the Yoshino. We don't know where he was at. Okay. He beat Yoshino. He beat Zapata, who was a 35 pounder. So what are we talking about over here? He beat Tio. Tio started out at 135. Okay. And went up to
Some
40.
some some guys are better at cutting weights than others. And the question I wanted to ask you is, in my opinion, there's a difference between the champion. Yeah, guys are moving through all these weight classes because they're starting so low, at a weight class so low that they have to move up. It's a difference between collecting all those belts of different weight classes and staying where you're supposed to fight and becoming a reigning champion. That means having 10, 15, 20 title defenses in your right weight division. Well, mostly,
Ain't
not just
nobody.
Shakur, but a
But
lot of these guys are fighting
yeah,
25 pounds out of the weight class.
That's
25. They're not
everybody.
fighting the
That's
lightweight class.
everybody. That's everybody. That's everybody. That's everybody you talking about. That's everybody.
That's what I just said. I said,
All
I
right, so
said
then what
we
we
don't. We
talking
don't. In
about?
other words,
That
hear
don't
me
have
out,
no
Bernie.
bearing on nothing.
Bernie, hear me
That
out.
don't,
We don't have any more reigning champions right now because
okay,
these
that
guys
don't
are
got
not
nothing to do
fighting.
with nothing.
They're
That
not
don't
fighting
got
the
nothing
right
to do
weight
with
class.
nothing. And I understand that. So now we switching it. This the thing though. This is what we talking about. Tank's resume. I'm not saying none of these guys. The one thing I want to give Shakur and the one thing I give a Bud is that these guys actually, because I know them, only because I know them and I'm closer to them. I know these guys actively want these fights. Y'all talking about people y'all don't not know, and that's okay. But I'm saying I'm knowing with these guys, and now you gotta understand I'm a boxing historian. I've been following boxing since I was 9 years old. I'm 45. I'm really a historian of boxing. These guys actually want the fights. These guys that we were all talking, that y'all talk, they can have the power to make the fights, but won't make the fights.
yeah,
I
and
got a
They
question for you,
won't
Bernie.
make.
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
They have
Stop right there.
the.
Hold on 1 second.
They
Hold on one
they
second.
in
Hold
the.
on 1 second.
Hold on. Wait. They're in the
Dang, man, you be
position.
talking too much. You want to let everybody else get a word in, brother?
All right.
Go ahead, Coach. Ask Bernie. Go ahead.
Okay, Shakur is at 140. Correct. He's the A side, in my opinion. He has the power to unify and even become undisputed at 140. So why don't he do that? He's trying to go back and forth between two weight classes. I would like to see him fight Gary Antoine Russell.
because
I
he
would like to
We
see
all
him
want to see
fight the other
that.
guy,
We
other
all want to
champions at
see that.
140.
We all want to see that. But that remains to be seen yet. Shakur haven't posted his next move yet. He hasn't posted his next move yet. So at the same time, the only fight he truly really wants at 35, and we know that, is Tank. That's the fight that he wants. A Lamont Roach is a good substitute or something like that. But you know the fight that he's looking for is
yeah,
Tank.
he
That's the
gotta
fight
be
he's
right
looking
there.
for. So
He
so
gotta be
so
right there.
so so at the same time, you don't hear Gary Russell screaming for Shakur Stevenson either. You don't hear none of the other guys screaming for Shakur Stevenson either. So you talking about what Shakur doing? You don't hear
What
none of
about
those
strap
guys,
season?
which he
What
is
about
the man,
strap season?
which he is the man. They're not screaming for the man.
What about
And Bernie, let me ask you this real quick, Bernie, because I know this like people be getting this mixed up. When Bud was going to 54, then he tried to fight Tim Tszyu and Fundora, and they was on the PBC in-house stuff.
They turned him down. They turned him down, bro. That's a
Yeah.
fact. They turned him down. Fundora said, cause now I'm telling you, bro, I'm not. He told him,
It's
no, because
crazy. It's crazy.
this
Yeah.
Spence is still more popular than Crawford. I want to fight Spence because he's more popular than Crawford. That's what happened, bro. That's why when Bud fought Madrimov, that was for the Super Championship at 54, the WBA. Why you think they put the WBC and the WBO interim titles on the line? Because he can petition for that, so he can be in the line for the fight. He was undisputed
Right.
champion at 47, right? They stripped him of the IBF before he could even make the Boots fight. He wasn't even he couldn't even make the Boots fight because he was obligated to fight Spence. Nobody knew for forever when if Spence was going to do the rematch. So everybody was in limbo with that. The IBF hurry up and rushed to judgment and quit him with the IBF. So now he's already the other portion of the championship, all the WBC, WBA, WBO. So he fought for basically all those titles at 54. He fought for the number one position for those titles at 54, which Fendora owned at the time. Bro, he didn't want to fight. Fendora didn't want to fight that man. Every
And what
championship
about
that Bud had, every weight class, he always wanted to go for the number one guy. Every time you never heard him say nothing else. When he went from 40 to 47, he said, I want to fight Pacquiao and I want to fight Keith Thurman. He said to Keith Thurman, they was trying to get him to fight Pacquiao when he fought Diaz. That's all they kept talking about. This is the next fight before Pacquiao. You see Pacquiao didn't want to have nothing to do with him. This is just what did happen. This ain't me making nothing up. He
and
said,
Bernie?
okay, if I can. So he said, I
He
can't
said,
get him. I want Keith Thurman. Come on, bro.
and he said Tim Tszyu said the same thing on the PBC side.
I don't know necessarily about what happened with Tim Tszyu because he was going for the champion, which was Fundora at the time. So I don't know about Tim
Yeah.
Tszyu. All I know is with the Fundora, who was the champion, who was the man of the division. That's who Crawford wanted to go. Again, like I said, when he was in the press conference for the Diaz fight, or whenever he said, I want to, if I'm moving on, fight Keith Thurman. If I don't get Manny Pacquiao, I'm going to fight Keith Thurman if to go to 47. I think that was still before he beat Ndongo. I don't even think he was worried about the Ndongo thing right then. They was asking him. He said, I want to go for the man. Every time he go up, he go for the man. The man was talking about Crawford's resume. I'm a boxing historian now, and I'm close to the situation. And it's been publicly, this man couldn't get no fights. When he beat Gamboa, Gamboa was a unified champion and a feared guy that couldn't get no fights. Mikey Garcia wouldn't fight him. Abner Morris didn't fight him. None of them guys down there wouldn't fight him. So he was the 35 interim champion because he couldn't get no fights. That's who Bud's first title defense was after he went over there and fought Ricky Burns, who was a reigning champion who had defended his title and a two-weight world champion. That's Bud's first shot at the championship. That's who gave him a shot. He went over to the man hometown, beat a reigning and unified a two-weight champion and beat him easy. Clean. Let me say that. Not easy, but clean. His first title defense is against Gamboa, who all the stuff I just said. Couldn't get the fights with Mike Garcia, couldn't get the fights with Abner Mares, and was a unified champion at 26. Couldn't get no work. That's his moved up to 35. who was the interim champion at 35, whatever you want to call that. He was a minor belt at 35. That's who they put in for Bud's first title defense. He beats him with flying colors. Now the man said about Bud getting wobbled. Any man that's getting caught lacking, you can't get wobbled, get Bud known as having a punch, right? Bud had his hands down clearly and was being reckless and got wobbled. That's shame in
Getting
that.
wobbled don't mean nothing, Bernie. All of our favorite fighters been
I'm just,
wobbled once.
I'm just okay. So, but this, I'm
No,
going
no,
off
no,
what this
no. The
man
only reason we
said.
brought that up
I,
because
I,
you said
I'm
Sugar Ray
logging.
Leonard got dropped. That's the
I'm
only reason we
logging
brought
what
that up.
I'm logging. I'm logging. All I'm saying, I'm logging in what this man said. He said that, and you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. When you talking about Crawford with any of them guys, you're not. I don't believe you're really evaluating Crawford in a true way. I think you're biased and
Nope.
you kind of hate on Crawford. Yes,
Yeah.
because like I'm saying,
Yeah.
you talking about if I'm putting up the pitfalls of Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm saying he got dropped by a guy. Who the fuck was that guy? I think that guy. You know what? I ain't gonna necessarily say it like that because that guy came along and he beat a Roberto Duran. And he you know what? I want to put him in a mode of maybe a Tiger Jones
Hey,
who didn't
Bernie,
come back Sugar Ray
is there
Leonard,
is there
Sugar
is
Ray
it possible
Robinson.
for anybody else to say anything?
I'm just giving you breaking things down.
No, I understand
Hey, hold
that. You
on,
know,
coach. Hold on,
You
hold on,
can't
hold on, coach.
you can't get mad
Hold
at
on.
me
Let me do
going on
this.
my
Hold on, hold
tirade.
on.
You
Let me
can't
say
get mad
this.
at me dropping
Yeah.
facts.
Hold on. Let me say this.
Uh,
Shout out to Bella pulling up. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Shout
Y'all
out
tap the
Bella.
like button. Follow the channel. Help the channel grow. Put some color in the chat if you can. Right. We building. Appreciate all the members of the channel. And yeah. Hey, let them cook, coach. Let Bernie cook.
They don't want
But
me to do that, bro,
Bernie
because
the Bernie the guest. Yo, let
I'm
him go.
coming
He the
with the
guest.
I'm coming with the true stuff, and nobody likes the truth. That's what I'm trying. Nobody likes the truth. Everybody hates the truth, and I'm
Lord,
coming
we
with
done
it.
loaded.
No matter if I'm with him or not, I'm. That's even better because I'm close to it. I
right.
don't put what would I gotta do by fluffing nothing? These are facts. I'm putting out the truth, and nobody likes the truth.
Bernie,
That
let me
man
ask
was
you more
when
facts.
PBC. You talk about the promotional thing. When PBC put up their welterweight banners, the top welterweights, Crawford was not even on it, and he was a reigning champion. Crawford was not. They had Mikey Garcia, who was not a champion and never was a welterweight champion, and Crawford was not up there for the top welterweights. What kind of stuff
And
is
that's
that telling
crazy.
you?
That's crazy.
What kind of stuff is
And
that telling you? Keith
that's
Thurman
crazy.
publicly said he didn't care about the WBO belt. He didn't want to fight Crawford. Crawford didn't do this. Crawford didn't do that. When Crawford already been a lineal champion and an undisputed champion moving up. And he beat the man that had beat Manny Pacquiao. And he don't want to fight Crawford. Crawford ain't this and Crawford ain't that. When you just now a unified champion, a one-weight champion, and never had, who was your best wins? Come on, bro. Stop it. And so